So if you're ready, say, I'm ready. I'm ready. That's why, I don't know if you see that, but that's why I put that banner up there. It says, success and achievement isn't something you pursue. Success, it's something that you attract by the person you become. I was listening to a audio this today as I was traveling. I just got back from Austin by Earl Nightingale, an old business philosopher, and he was talking about the mind and what was wrong with men. And what he was talking about is that he said men simply don't think. They don't know how to use their head. And he said, and he went on to explain all these things. But one of the things he said about success, he said, success isn't when you make a lot of money. Making a lot of money isn't what success is. You start making a lot of money when you're successful. Think about that for a minute. And I thought about that, and that's exactly what that saying says. Each and every one of us can have success. It just depends how you define it. But that's not what I'm going to talk about today. Which is one of my favorite subjects, by the way. Who likes success? Who likes success? I like success, right? In fact, this is why I started this class. So, because I wanted to be successful in life. For me, that meant not being a loser drug addict, not being a loser father, not being a loser husband. You know, those of you that were here, I know you're new, but that was who I am, believe it or not. Don't let the suit fool you. I just like wearing suits now, right? 13 years in prison, 10 years of drug addiction. So you heard my story, right? So I just didn't want to be that anyway. And the whole reason I started this class was because I wanted to help people understand that, man, we can change our lives. And I don't know if you know this as well. Let me tell you a little bit about what I do as well. Is that my, who dinged? Well, if you see my phone over there, turn it off. I have no idea where I left it. Oh, you know what? I left it in there, Chavaria. I started this class because I wanted to help people understand how life change works. And I was about to say that most of you may not know this, but I'm also an evangelist and a speaker. I'm an evangelist with my church. I get to travel all over the world, sharing my story and helping, doing the same thing I'm doing here, except behind a pulpit. Well, a church pulpit. And man, I'm amazed at everywhere I go, man, everybody is facing similar problems than every single one of you are. And this is why the gospel of Jesus Christ is preached. Because, man, we need help, man. Our society is going down the drain, literally. And we need help, especially as men. And this is why I'm here. So the whole idea of what I teach you is help you to become a better man. That's what we need. We need better men, right? Would you agree to that? We need fathers. We need husbands. We need leaders, men who would stand up in the gap and say, you know what, I'll do the right thing simply because it's the right thing to do. So you have somebody who's going to follow you. Because each and every one of us followed somebody. And maybe you weren't following the right person. But that's why I'm here. So I want to talk about habits today. I've been showing you the process. We're going through the process of change, something I teach here. I call it the 7 major pieces to changing your life. The 7 major pieces to changing your life. If someone were to ask you, your son, your daughter, a friend, and they get to a point and they're telling you, man, I'm struggling with life. I want to change my life. Where do I start? How do I change my life? What would you tell them? Think about it for a minute. What would you tell them? That's the question that was posed to me, and I started thinking about it. I said, well, I don't know what I would tell them. I don't know, go to church or get a rosary, or I don't know. Right? I mean, where do you start? And I had those questions over 20 years ago. And well, now I know what it takes to change your life. And I call it the 7 major pieces to changing your life. And it's desire and faith and mindset, attitude, and today we're going to talk about habits. So habits, how important do you think habits are? They're huge. Let me read a couple of scriptures. That say in Luke 4:16, it says like this. He went to Nazareth, talking about Jesus, where he had been brought up. And on the Sabbath day, he went into the synagogue as was his custom. What other word can we use there? As was his habit. All successful people, all successful preachers, all successful businessmen, all successful fathers and husbands and leaders, any successful person that you meet has a custom, has good habits or certain habits. I just lost my notes. That's just great. Hold on, guys. Calm down. There we are. Another scripture, Acts 17:2. It said like this. This is Paul the Apostle. As was his custom, Paul went into the synagogue on the 3rd Sabbath days. He reasoned with them from the scriptures. So the only reason I brought up those scriptures is because habits are huge. So I want to talk about habits today. So I was reading this article. Let me give you the title of the article. You might like it. $1 million Habits. That caught my attention. I used to read a lot of that stuff. Habits of millionaires. The 7 habits of millionaires. And anything that had to do with millionaire, I'd read it. And then what was happening is that I started reading and I'm like, man, he hasn't taught me how to make money here. That's the attitude I got. I read 2 or 3 books and I'm like, when are they going to talk about money? Like, what do I do? How to get it? And that's how you might feel about what I'm going to share with you. But listen, that saying right there is true. Success is not something you pursue. Success is something you become. Or should I say, let me read it. It's something you attract by the person you become. Everything I have today that's good, I'm a speaker, I'm a preacher, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a leader. I've attracted it by who I became. And that's what I want to help you do. Become a better man. Let's talk about habits today. Aristotle, there was a guy named Aristotle, and now it's proven that 95% of everything we do is habitual. It's by habits. Did you know that? 95% of everything you do on a daily basis is habitual. This is how we work. This is how our mind works. And there's a lot here to unpack, but you have to learn this on your own. But you're just going to have to trust me on this. From the time you get up to the time you lay down in bed, you are functioning on habits. Habits. That's how it works. Because that's just how it is. Let me give you an idea of how powerful habits are. Right now, I have my family living with me because they're going to move out somewhere else. I have my daughter, my son-in-law, my grandchildren, and they're using one of our rooms. But in that room is where I put all my clothes, my closet, right? And it took me, I'm still doing the same thing. I'd get out of my room and go into that closet. But now I can't go in there because the baby's sleeping or something, right? But I get up and automatically I want to go in there. I wasn't thinking. Why? Because we're creatures of habit. That's what I mean. Automatically you do things. You do things in your life that you don't even notice. Has anybody ever told you, did you know that you do this? When you get married, they'll tell you. Did you know that you have a habit of doing this or doing that? Everyone, we all have habits. So then this is an important thing that you have to understand. So then if you are not where you want to be in life, probably because you don't have good habits. Or at least it's a big part of it. Who would agree to that? Yeah? Who has some bad habits? Who has some good habits? I have some good habits too. So what we have to do is eliminate as many bad habits as we can and start developing as many good habits as we can. It's that simple. So let me tell you three rules about habits. Let's talk about habits for a minute. 3 rules about habits. This is by Brian Tracy. This is the advice he gives millionaires and CEOs. Check this out. Form good habits and make them your masters, rather than allowing bad habits to form and becoming your master. Wow. So he says, rule number 2, good habits are hard to form. Who would agree to that? Good habits are hard to form. But listen to this. Are hard to form and easy to live with. They're hard to form and easy to live with. Okay, no. No, let me read this. Good habits are hard to form. I didn't read it right. And easy to live with. In other words, good habits are good, right? So they're easy to live with. But listen to this. Bad habits are easy to form and hard to live with. They're easy to form. We're easy to do bad or do, they're easy to form, the bad habits, but man, they're not easy to live with. That's rule number 2. Rule number 3, all habits are learned. All habits are learned, which means that they can be unlearned. In other words, we can change them. So if you ever said, that's just the way I am, guess what? You can change. The question is, do you want to change? So is that good? Will that work? So how do you develop good habits? Anybody want to guess? How do you develop good habits? Consistency of what develops good habits. It's called repetition. This is how you guys started coming to choose the change, right? This is a good habit. I promise you, you keep coming. Not only are you going to learn something, not only are you going to grow, not only are you going to get some revelations, right? But it's going to become a habit. And it's a certain habit that you start learning and you want more. It's kind of like a drug. Serious. I remember I started learning things and I'm like, man, I want more. I'd read and read and read and read. I wanted to know more. So that's how you develop good habits. You have to do it repeatedly. The other day when you bought a shirt, you're talking about, man, I'm going to lose some weight, right? Well, it's going to take some good habits, right? And I'll give you a secret here in a minute how to start. Like I started. I need to start again because, man, I've been eating too much. Almost everything you do from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed is by habit. So what you want to start thinking about is what would be the best habits to develop that would create a better life for yourself. Remember, that's why we're here. Because we want to go somewhere better, right? We want to be a better man, a better person. We want to be in a better state of mind, a better state financially, somewhere better. That's why we're here. So what kind of habits do you think we should start developing? So now, the next question is, what good habits must we develop? That would depend on that would depend on what you're aiming for. One of the things that I teach here is that the first step to going from where you're at now to where you want to go, you want to be over here, smiling and happy. Ay, Jesús. That's where you want to be, right? So, but you're over here, sad and miserable, right? This is how this stuff works. So then the trick is, how do you go from here to there? What he's talking about is you have to figure out what you want to do. So I do a goal setting. Who's ever heard of goal setting? See, when I first heard about goal setting, I didn't know about that. So you start here, you want to change your life, and you start thinking, a ver, así hago un thinking, ay, Jesús. You start thinking, okay, what do I want? I want to stop using drugs. I want to stop eating bad habits. I'm getting ahead of myself. So that's what I want you to start thinking about that for a minute. Thinking as I'm reading this. That would depend on where you're aiming for. But assuming that you all want to be successful in life, then we should start by figuring out what kind of good habits we must develop and practice if we are to be successful in our lives or our ministries or our businesses. In his book, The $1 Million Habit, Brian Tracy outlines 12 habits that all successful people have. So I thought I'd give you a few of them. Think that would help you guys? So let's think about, there's a couple of things that I want to mention before I go on. Habits, there's two basic kind of habits. There's two basics kind of habits. Or actually three. Oh, wait a minute. What did I write here? Ya me perdí. No, two basic kind of habits. You have physical habits, right? That you smoke, you drink, you cuss, right? Those things, pornography, those physical habits. And then you have mental habits. Let me give you an example. Smoking, cussing, sleeping late. I love that one. Messy office habits, bad eating habits, right? These are physical habits that we can clearly see, right? But the mental habits are the ones that many times you can't see. You know, the anger, the frustration, always getting frustrated, always getting angry, right? Bad thinking habits. You're thinking the bad stuff, and that's even worse. And I'm not going to even get into that. But those are two kind of habits, you know, because those that you can't see are the worst ones. And that's why we need God. Because, man, left to our own devices, man, we destroy ourselves. And there's a reason for that, but I'm not going to go into all that. We're talking about habits. The only way to change your habits is by repetition. You must master the art of showing up. Let me repeat that. The only way to change your habits is by repetition. And what you're going to have to do is master the art of showing up. Does anybody have any questions before I explain that? On habits. No questions? You learning something? So let me show you that. I love this. I remember I learned this in prison. I learned this in prison. The art of showing up. So I didn't like to exercise, believe it or not. I didn't want to exercise. But that's after I got out of prison, you know, I said, man, but I got to keep on exercising. So what I did is I learned this thing, the art of showing up. So the art of showing up is this. I knew that I had to do something consistently. I knew that's because I learned this. You have to just do it consistently. But getting started is the hardest part. Who would agree to that? So I wanted to make sure I didn't gain weight. And it's working. I mean, I've spent 20 years now out of prison, going on 20 years, and I'm still pretty slim, I think. If you ask my wife, she'll say something different. But, you know, I've kept the weight down. And this is how I did it. But 15 years ago, I got into health, and I wanted to stay healthy, and I got into vitamins and started learning because I knew I was getting older, right? So I said, well, I'm going to start walking. So here's what I did, brother. This is a true story. And I had read this book, and this guy talked about this repetition and all this, and he said, look, here's what you want to do. Every morning, just go for a walk. And I said, okay, that sounds easy enough, right? He says, no, but I don't want you to go buy tennies and you're going to run for 3 miles. And no, none of that. Don't start like this. You have to master the art of showing up. So I said, what does that mean? He said, here's what he said. He says, what you want to do is you get your tennies ready at night, get your shorts ready at night, put them right there next to your bed. And in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock, whatever your alarm that you're going to get up, when it rings, get up. Don't even think about it. Put on your tennies. Don't even go to the bathroom. Get on your tennies, your shorts, and go walk around the house 1 or 2 times, and then come back to bed. I said, hey, I can do that. That sounds pretty simple, right? The art of showing up. So just do this every day. And before you know it, and I did this. I'm telling you, I did this because I wanted to be able to teach this. I said, let me see, esto jala. Hey, 15 years later, I'm still doing it. Not every day, but I'm doing it. So the next day I got up, put on my tennies, went around the house, went to bed. I did that for about a week. Following week, I was going around the neighborhood ahí nomás en la callecita. Go back to bed. Get up. Before you know it, 2-3 weeks, I'm doing it because it's getting easier and easier. And before you know it, I was walking around the neighborhood, around the block. And I started for a month, and now a few months passed by, and I'm running now. Why? And to this day, I do something every week, 2 or 3 times a week. I'm doing something. I go to the gym, I got a membership, and I have my bag in my truck. And I just know when I go to the gym now, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. But here, remember, the art of showing up. In my mind, I said, I'm just going to do 5 minutes. See, I psych myself out. 5 minutes. Y voy, me meto ahí estoy en el bench press. Bien livianito. 5 minutes. Again. And I me quedo 30 minutes. Because I've mastered the art of showing up. Did that help you? That's how you're going to do it, brother. So let's look at some goal-setting ideas. Anybody have any question? No? So here you go. Here's some habits that you need to start developing. You need to write these down. Goal setting. Goal setting. You have to start thinking about goals. What that means is figure out, is that how you spell it? Right? Get in the habit of having goals. And let me tell you the truth. It's hard to get used to. It's hard to get used to. Today, I have a calendar. I have my phone. I have my calendar on my phone. And I also have a calendar, paper calendar. Because every day I live on a schedule. That's planning. That's goals. Every day I have goals. It's a schedule. And I'm not perfect at it, but that's how I live. In the back of this schedule, in the back of this calendar, I have goals. And here's how I've done it now. I've narrowed my goals down to quarters, meaning 3 months. There's 4 quarters in a month. So I've narrowed my goals to what I want to do in these. Like right now, I'm in June, July, and August. That's April, May, January, February, March, April, May, June. Ya voy a comenzar June, July, and August next month. So I just started writing a couple of things I want there so far. But so every time I go to prayer or I'm thinking about it, I open up the book and I look at those goals. That's how you stay focused. Did you know you become what you think about? You become what you think about. You become what you think about. I promise you, look that up and you'll find out that this is true. All this is scientific. It's just how it is. It's just a fact. So learn how to set goals. So that's number 1. Number 2, oh no, what was number 2? Number 2 is become result-oriented. Learn the habit of becoming result-oriented. What do I mean by that? Anybody want to give it a try? What do I mean by become result-oriented? This is why I broke it down in quarters. Because I used to write yearly goals, 2 or 3 year goals, which I still do. But that's all I had, right? So I just say, you know, a ver cuál hago. No. Goal orientated meaning, okay, I'm going to do this in these 3 months. That's goal oriented. And I mean results orientated. In other words, what exactly do I want to accomplish by the time the month of June ends? Like I can give you a couple of things that I wanted to do. I wanted to email some pastors about revivals. So I have that. I wanted to, what was the other one I wanted to do? I forgot. And that's why you have to write them down. Because you'll forget. Right? So you want to learn to be goal oriented. Make it a habit. What other good example can I give you? Let's talk about losing weight. Since you told me that, so here's a being goal oriented. You can say, you know what? I'm going to stop drinking Cokes. So that's you can see it, right? You can see that results. You can see the result. No te la vas a tomar. No. So you're result oriented. Like you have a result. No more sugars. You know, my sugar. I started going to the doctor and checking my blood, checking all that, and I don't remember why, but I needed to get off sugar. So what I did, this was about 5 years ago, maybe more. What I did is I eliminated the sugar in my coffee. I was in prison. I used to drink coffee with no sugar all the time. Pero ya cuando sales aquí, te chiflas con todos los flavors. ¿Verdad? Ya no es coffee. It's sugar with a little bit of coffee. Or creamer with a little bit of coffee. ¿Verdad? No, I drink it black. So that was I could see it, clearly see it. As a result, got rid of it. That's what I did. So, learn to become result oriented. Remember, we're talking about habits. Make it become a habit of yours. You're result oriented. The third one is become people oriented. Remember, we're talking about habits of successful people. Habits of successful people. In other words, if you were like me, you don't want to meet new people. You want to be left alone. Who's ever wanted to be like that? You just want to be left alone, right? You want to do your own little thing. Yeah, just 1 or 2 friends, your best friends. You know, for me, it was drinking and drugging, right? And I just wanted to be as long as we were drinking and drugging, that's all I mattered. Everything else didn't matter. I don't want to know anybody else. No me molesten, right? So that's when you stop drinking and drugging. Pues that affects you big time because you don't know how to communicate. Many of us men have no idea how to communicate. No sabes comunicarte. I struggle with that. I struggle with that in terms of with my son. I don't know how to communicate. Or I'm with someone, we're fellowshipping, we're talking. I force myself to ask questions, to communicate, because we have no idea. I don't know about you, but for me, I always had stupid stuff in my mind. You're just ignorant. I do a class or in this class, you're going to hear me one day teach about what is a man. And what a man is, in the Bible, it says that a man is someone that puts childish things away. And part of those childish things is learning how to think like a man instead of think like a child. And a child, one of the things that we have to put away is we always want to play, right? We just want to be entertained. Like right now, this class could be boring. It could be. A lot of people come here and they're bored. I understand. But doing something productive that's good for you is always going to be something that you really concentrate on. You have to work for it. A lot of people don't know. Who likes to read here? You like to read? You like to read? Man, I hated to read. I did not like to read at all. I forced myself to read. So become people-oriented. In other words, you must keep in mind that everything that you will achieve or accomplish in life will be with the help and encouragement of other people. Will be with the help and encouragement of other people. So always think, what do other people want and need from me? You want to help others. This is what I'm doing. You want to help others so that they will want to help you back. Doesn't that make sense? I love an illustration that Leon Garcia says. When you see somebody on the side of the road, a man on the side of the road, you just pass right by him. But if you see a man on the side of the road and he's pushing his car, guess what happens? Somebody stops and helps him. Why? There's something about when you see somebody else doing for himself that you want to help. And I said, man, that's powerful. So that's why I like helping people who want to help themselves. That's why I dedicate my life to this. Because if you come here, I want to make sure I'm going to deliver and give you something powerful, something that's useful, something that you can use to change your life. This is why I'm here. I don't get paid for this. I do it every Thursday because I know I want to help people. And if you're coming here, I want to help people that want help. This is why I put it in here. If you want to change your life, you're in the right place. This is where the teachings of Jesus Christ comes in. He says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Or it's more blessed to give than to receive. Yeah? Anybody have any questions? I only have 7 of these, so I want to give you, I got the 5th one here. And guess what it is? Be health-oriented. Be health-oriented. I remember my mom would say, estar malo es para los ricos. Estar enfermo es para los ricos. And I didn't understand that for a while, but now I understand it. Being sick is for the rich. Does anybody know why? Because it costs a fortune, man, to be sick. Medication, doctor's appointments. So be health-oriented. Learn to have the habit of being health-oriented, which I live my life that way. And I'm not perfect. I still eat stuff that I'm not supposed to. Y cada rato me regaña mi wife, right? But I'm constantly, watching. Whoa. Like I don't eat tortillas, tacos. I don't eat tacos. In the morning, I don't eat tacos. Who loves cute tacos and stuff? I don't eat them. I just don't. Because I remember I was helping this guy. I used to sell Herbalife. And I was helping this guy lose weight, man. And he drink his shake and every morning he'd come and get his shake. And then one morning he came, and Orlando, I can't stop eating those tacos. And it was so funny because he hated it because but you know what? He stopped and he lost weight. But being health oriented, you have to start thinking about it. Another one. Well, let me read what it says. Think about your health all the time. In other words, watch what you eat, and I do that. Yeah, sure do. Watching. Watch how much you eat. Exercise. This like today, after I get out of here, I'll probably go walk. Because I know that I need to do it. So I go do it. This one is the hardest for many people, but so important. Listen to this. 20 to 30 minutes of walking a day will do wonders. And I've read that years ago, and it makes so much sense. 20 to 30 minutes a day, you'd be surprised. Go walk at 9 o'clock at night, at 10 o'clock at night. Just go walk. That's what I was telling Frank. Frank, he started walking, then he quits, then he walks again, then he quits. But because he's hearing this all the time, he keeps on getting on it, getting it. You'd be amazed. You need to rest as well, but remember that in order to be successful, remember we're talking about habits of successful people. In our competitive world, you're going to need a lot of energy. And in order to do that, you need good food, exercise, and rest. So be health oriented. Remember, habits of successful people. Here's another one. Here's the last two. Be honest. Stay honest. And this is a huge one. Who likes to be lied to? Nobody. But yet we lie. Lying is you have to learn to be honest. Now, I admit it's not that easy, right? But again, this is not about being easy. This is about changing your life. Be honest. Let me go to the last one. And here's a really, really good one that you can take home with you. If you don't remember anything else, remember this one. Self-discipline. Get in the habit of being self-disciplined. Self-disciplined. This is really the foundational habit that makes everything else possible. Discipline. Here's a very good definition of discipline for you. The ability to make yourself do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. The ability to make yourself do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. That's discipline. You see, everyone can do it if they feel like it. Right? Anybody can do it if they feel like it. Anybody could go to the gym if they feel like it. Anybody can not put sugar in their coffee if they feel like it. Anybody could, you just name it, if they feel like it. But that's not discipline. Discipline is doing it when you don't feel like it. And that's how this stuff works. Any questions? So you're writing notes? Write 3 things you want to learn. You want to start doing different. Three things you'd like to do. Just write them. Where we're at. Let me give you some examples. Think about it, guys. What things do you need to start changing? Start with 1, but have 2 there in the back burner. Start with 1. What is it? Maybe you say, you know what? I'm used to sleeping till 10. I'm just going to sleep till 9. Working out. Getting up in the morning. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Just get used to it. The biggest part about developing new habits, is creating that mastering the art of showing up. That's the biggest part of developing new habits, the consistency. It doesn't matter, what's the word I'm looking for? In other words, like if you get up and you walk around the house, no es nada, right? But that's not important at the beginning. How much you do is not important. What's important is doing something. That's what I meant by going around the house and going back to bed. That's not going to help you if you keep on doing that for 10 years. But the point of it is to get you in the habit of getting up. That's the key. Do you see that? How powerful that is? That's the key. Here's another one you might want to pick up a new habit. Start reading 10 minutes a day. But read things I would recommend that help you, like the Bible, a personal development book, a leadership book, a business book, an autobiography by some leader. Read something that's going to feed your mind. Here's another one to consider: prayer. You know what? You get up in the side of your bed and just say, man, thank you, Lord. Thank God for another day. Help me today, and just help me, Lord. I'm crazy. Help me. Whatever. Just talk to God. Just giving you ideas. Keep coming to the change. Come to church. You know what? This Sunday I'm going to church. And I had another one here, take notes. You're already doing it. There you go. I started taking notes in prison. And I still take notes. Everywhere I go. You see me in church, I'm going to take notes. You see me at a seminar, you see me anywhere, I'm going to take notes. Because the power of the notes, and I'll close with this. The power of note-taking is that you never know what you're going to hear. You never know what you're going to hear in a sermon, in a class, in a seminar. You never know what you're going to hear. And if you try to remember it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to forget. So I write it down. I literally have books, literally notebooks of years of notes starting in prison. And I go back once in a while, I look at them, I say, man, this is a good one. I'll teach this today. Don't trust your memory. Does anybody else have anything else to say? I'm going to pass around the donation bucket. Si me quieren ayudar today, I brought my donation today. Guys, and if you don't have money, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Just know that. And those of you watching online, I haven't even said nothing to you guys. Habits. Anybody have any questions? No questions? Somebody has to have a question, man. Something. Ándale, dime. Okay.
What kind of good breakfast substitutes besides tacos that you can?
Was somebody? I just learned something. I was eating.
Everything I say, because I'm talking to daycare todas las mañanas. El mismo almuerzo.
What are you eating?
Eggs, beans.
A mí me dijeron que comiera eso. Eggs and bacon. Because I was eating oatmeal every morning. I started eating oatmeal for years. Yep. Oatmeal. That's what I started eating.
Any kind.
Well, for starters, but the point is start doing something. But I'm no dietitian, man. So I don't know. If I were you, do you drink a lot of Cokes? What about coffee and creamer? Sweet tooth? All right. Well, then just start learning to say no once in a while.
Yeah.
You know? You can start there también. And that's hard, man. It's really difficult. That's the goal. Remember, the goal here is to become health oriented. In other words, think about it. Don't not think about it. Que de perdido digas, chihuahua, la regué otra vez. Let it hurt you at least something, and just start. What I would do is I would start walking. That's a huge one, because not only will you feel better, then it's just good. You get that in there, ya cuando quieres andar ahí como Rocky, cálmate, trabajito hermano. So guys, here's what we're going through. We're going through the philosophy mindset. This is what we're going through. What was your name again, son? Anthony. This is what we're going through. Because this is the process. Attitude. Last week we talked about attitude, habits. Today we're talking about habits. Lifestyle. Next week we're going to talk about lifestyle. Because that produces your results in life. See, these are the 7 major pieces to changing your life. There's a lot more ingredients, but if you work on these, and this is like a framework, you start understanding the things you need to do to change your life. Like, how did you wind up in prison? You know, if you're in prison, how did you wind up in prison? Let me tell you, because of your lifestyle. And why did you have a lifestyle? Because of your habits and your attitude, which formed your lifestyle. And why did you have bad attitudes and bad habits? Because of what you believe, what you thought, your mind, how you twisted, whatever that might have been. Lack of faith. And you always wind up back at desire. Like right now, all of you are here. You're right here. You want something better. You're looking for something better. You have faith. You believe that there's something better for you. So I'm helping you. Your key core is your mind. Everything I'm teaching you is coming into your mind, because that's what's going to produce better habits, better attitudes, better lifestyle, which will produce a better what? And result is the name of the game. Yeah? So that's all I have today, guys. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next week.